Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Ukulima Mazao Bora, your ultimate guide to successful farming practices. In today's episode, we dive into the world of spring onion farming. Join us as we uncover the secrets to cultivating healthy, vibrant spring onions. But first, let's learn some fascinating fun facts about this versatile vegetable. Spring onions belong to the same family as garlic, leeks, and chives. They have a milder flavor compared to regular onions, making them a popular choice in many dishes. Spring onions are rich in vitamin A, C, and K, as well as folate and fiber. They are low in calories and can be a great addition to a healthy diet.
On this other side of the farm tunakutana na vitunguu almaarufu spring onions ambayo tutakuwa tukiweza kuelezwa jinsi zinakuzwa ziwe nzuri jinsi unavyotazama.
Alright, this section is still falling under horticulture. And it is as I said earlier, these are crops that require intensive care and a lot of inputs, but they also fetch premium prices. So it takes that kind of direction. So, but this one in particular, it has proven to be rather cheaper to produce because you don't use even seeds. You just use the splits to propagate. Yeah, so what we do, we just put a few splits, and then we came and packed in a small portion. Then we decided to split into planting materials. Like I can explain here. You can see this is practically the way you just split like this. Split like this, and these are propagating materials. Then you plant now. This one plant has produced 1, 2, 3, 4. So you multiply. Like now you plant this one. It is going to stand, and it will multiply into so many others. Then this one you plant it elsewhere. Come up. This one. So that is basically make it like this, and then you put it like that. Now you can see now it is cheaper to propagate or to multiply. And then course, land preparation is just basically the normal way. You dig the land, make sure you dig deep enough, at least 23 centimeters up to loosen the soil. And then you redo it by eliminating the notorious weeds. Then as soon as it is clean enough, you apply manure. It's organic manure. But we are lucky, as I've showed you from the unit. We have to connect these things. You can see this. This is from the organic. From the biogas unit.
Yeah.
So we have brought it here, so that when we want to put it on this bed, it is easier. We just come and scoop it here, then you apply on the then after that you can add inorganic fertilizer. Inorganic is a commercial fertilizer.
Yes.
Like NPK. You can add a spoonful because it is necessary for the root development. Then from there you can top dress with CAN once the crop has taken. When you start splitting, you plant, at least after 3 weeks it has produced some roots.
Yeah.
So in that case you can apply CAN and it is able to take it. And then when it has and then you control the disease. The main one here is powdery mildew, which is a fungicide, a fungal disease. So you can use fungicides like Milras, Ridomil, and then you spray. You mix with the foliar feed to enhance vegetative development. And I think those are the basic things. And then insecticide, of course, because we have aphids also. It can be attacked by aphids. When you see it is turning whitish, it means it has been attacked by aphids. So you just control the routine spraying. What I mean by routine spraying, as soon as it has taken up 3 weeks, you spray with foliar, with a fungicide and an insecticide. Then you can repeat according to the conditions, the weather conditions. If the weather is damp or cold and there's too much rain, it means the infection will be too much. So you can do it every week. But when the weather is dry enough, mixed, fairly dry, you can do it 3 weeks intervals. You just repeat. It's a routine kind of thing to prevent and maybe control the already affected ones. Then
About the water supply.
okay, during dry season, like recently, we used to irrigate. We can use a hose pipe, like we did practically here. There is a tap there. Then we bring the hose pipe and connect with the pipe there. Then you use your hands and water the crop. But if you can use the overhead irrigation sprinklers, that's okay. We used to have also the drip lines here. In fact, the pipe in bit up. Ni vile tu ilikatwa na tukawacha. So that is when there is no rain. But right now, with these rains, we don't bother with the moisture. It is adequate. So it becomes cheaper. Although the problem now in terms of market, definitely everybody will supply in large number and quantities. So there is always the disadvantages and advantages according to time. Yes, but that one is okay. It normally balances out. So these onions, they are not very costly to produce. Onions, they also produce a certain smell, and it also help in repelling some of the insects. Yes, and that's why when you rotate in your farm, where the onions were, there are some insects that do not survive there. Okay, as you are asking about the maize there, we had onions there, but then before we cleared, we saw it necessary to rotate with maize and we do what we call relay cropping.
Yeah.
Relay cropping is where you plant a crop while the other one is still in the farm. Planning to remove the other one, and the other one takes over the field.
Yeah.
So this is called relay cropping. Now we are clearing the onions there. Then we shall leave the maize as a pure stand.
Okay.
Yes, that is how
That
we
is
normally do to save time.
Oh.
Yes, because kama tungengoja tumalize kutoa hiyo, by now we should be planning to plant maize. Si unaona tungechelewa.
Take time.
But now we have already, the maize is growing. The onions are still happy.
Yeah.
But I'm sure very soon they will start shedding. So we don't allow that. We shall make sure by the time the shedding effect is felt by the onions,
Yeah.
we shall have cleared them out there and bring it somewhere else. Yes. This crop, almost every part is used. But the main one, una uproot, and then you una chop from the bottom.
Yeah.
And of course, even the leafy part, you still use this one as a salad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kata. It's very nice.
When we were growing up, kulikuwa na misconception that there's a certain way they need to be uprooted, na si ile yenye you ngoa the whole thing. Matawi peke yake.
Oh yeah, samani, there was another, but not this particular one. You know the onion ya samani kabisa. It's not this one. These ones have been improved. That's why you see they have been selected with the purpose of producing bulk onions, with the aim of utilizing that root part of it. But the original one you are talking about, ni ile small ones.
Yeah.
Ile ka small one with very thin stem. The original one, the indigenous one that we used to have. So that one we used to cut the top na ina regenerate again. Unakata tena, and it was doing very well at that time. But this one is uprooted and used as a whole thing. But then it is also able to expand, to multiply. As you remove, they increase. Yeah. You know, as I said about plant breeding.
Yes.
Normally breeding is done with a purpose, with an objective. So these are improved varieties. And of course it was selected according to the purpose and the objective of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So if you bring yours now, that small one, and plant it here, it is a very tiny thing. It was very tiny. It was like almost
this one.
Ilikuwa kama, even the leaves were just like this. So you can see now that one, it might have played a role by producing this one, by way of crossing and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you manage these fallouts? Nyauka.
Okay, maybe there was a problem of sun scorching recently when there was no much water.
Yeah.
So there is what we call dieback. Wakati mimea inapata shida ya maji, for example, they normally die from the top, ikienda nyuma.
Yeah.
So that was just a problem, a disorder. We normally have what we call disorders that are caused by environmental factors. So it is not a big issue.
Okay.
It was just lack of enough moisture. Then it dies. And of course there is some infections also happen. As I said, fungal infections like this downy mildew. And you know, sometimes we don't encourage farmers also to do too much spraying. You know, if you spray too much, you might not allow the plant to even resist something.
Yeah.
So by the time it is attacked, it will be very easy to eliminate it kabisa completely.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's why we normally spray, we extend the intervals of spraying. So that you allow the plant also to be attacked kidogo, and then what we call the threshold point. You know, there is what we call threshold point of attack, whereby economic aspects are adversely affected.
Yeah.
But there is a limit where economically it is still viable. So you don't need to expect a plant to be so clean without any problem. It is not like us. You have to be sick sometimes.
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't expect a plant to be purely without no problem. And that's why we have what we call tolerant to diseases. If you go to agrovet, somebody may say, I want a cabbage. Then somebody will give you, take this one, not this one. Then you ask why. He can tell you, in your place, you have a lot of particular disease fulani. And this cabbage is tolerant to that disease.
Yeah.
So you better take it, because this one is not tolerant. Tolerant means it can survive with that disease.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's why.
What can you tell farmers?
This one is a very good thing, especially right now. Even here in this farm, we normally sell a few of these 100 shillings.
Wow.
So imagine you can sell 100. How many times? So how many hundreds will you get from here? Sometimes you wonder. You can sell 1,000 this small portion here. Especially when there is drought. So this one is a very good crop among horticultural crops right now.
Yeah.
And pilipili hoho. Yeah, those are there. And then dania. And this one does not really need a lot of care compared to others like tomatoes.
Yeah.
You know, tomato ni kama mtoto. You can't leave it even a week. You will not find it. But these ones, you can go to Kericho, Nairobi, and you'll come back, you'll find imeshikwa na msituni na unatoa tu na bado ina. Yeah. So it's a good one.
Yeah.
Now it is popular. Nowadays meshinda ile pulp onions. I don't know why. People also,
you know, I usually feel like these ones have more taste.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah.
Compared to the
pungent. That pungent smell or taste which we need in onions.
Yeah.
Iko very strong. Hata jana nilikula ingine na nikauliza mliongeza dania ama nini? Kaniambia it was just onion like this. Sasa nikafikiria bengine maybe they have even crossed or introduced that nini. I don't want to go into details mingi. You know, if you want to introduce that pungent, that smell, dania, with science nowadays, they can put it here, so that you can go with the two.
Yeah.
Because that one was smelling very nice. Because dania is also another one. I'm listing very few things up. Onions, these ones, and dania, and ambaye siku hizi watu wanakukuli chakula bila hiyo vitu.
Yeah.
Yes. So you see, you don't even ask. Yeah. It's just a simple thing. You just plant it the way we are seeing here. But if you want to be very economical with space, of course, we have to discuss that.
Yeah.
You don't just plant without measuring. You must space. It was crop spacing. And that was done as a research.
Yeah.
Economically. In research, you normally have plots like this. You can space this one at 60 by 60. And that plot you space at 60 by 45.
Yeah.
The other one you space at 45 by 45. Then you do the practices of agronomy. I mean agronomic practices means weeding, making sure diseases are controlled.
Yeah.
Everything is done well, and they are done to the same plots, but different spacings, isn't it? Then at the end of it, you harvest, and then you measure the yield.
Yeah.
The same area, and then you see the difference. Mahali uliweka 60 by 60, you record. Mahali uliweka 60 by 45, you record. The other one, you record, and then you see which one has given you the best profit out of the same land area.
Yeah.
So it is not a question of kuangalia na macho, acha niweke hapa ni no, you need to do the right spacing.
What is the perfect spacing for the onions themselves?
This one is like 45 by 45. So every crop iko na spacing yake. Kama mahindi iko na 75 by 25. Tena in different places we have different spacings.
Yeah.
So it is not also a constant thing. Because it is basically scientific in the sense that there is soil type, there is altitude, there is availability of moisture. So in areas where there is a lack of moisture, you tend to space widely.
Yeah.
So that there is no competition for water. Where there is a lot of water, you tend to close space so that you utilize the space properly, and so forth. And those things have also reasons, because you space too much, upepo ikikuja kama mahindi nalala. But when you have proper spacing, upepo inapita vizuri. Yeah, and then feeding. So these ones, they also have, you do the correct spacing, the correct chemicals for control of insects, control of fungal diseases, and foliar feed.
Yeah.
And then NPK, the pestle fertilizer. Ile ya kutumia kupanda na ile ya kuweka top dressing. The other foliar, I understand, you know, it is taken up by the plant through the leaves. And that one will help you to solve the problem when there is no rain, to make the soil wet so that it can take the chakula. Then you take advantage of using this, you spray, then it takes the same nutrients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the harvesting, the same the processing in, how do we harvest?
This one?
Yeah.
You harvest this one by removing this, the bigger one. Then you leave the younger ones. Then you unarudisha mchanga. Then don't disturb it. You continue like that until maybe 3 months is when they mature. Then you may continue harvesting for another 9 months, meaning it can stay there for the same place as it develops some insects inside there, wadudu, until you see the yield is going down. You can remove completely and put another crop of different family. I think I am repeating the same thing, crop rotation. Don't use the same family of this one. Yeah. If you plant this one, followed by sukuma, it is okay. Followed by maize, as we have done, it's okay. Yeah, then you rotate like that. Inaitwa bolting, yani inaanza kutoa maua. Sasa your flowers will end up producing seeds. Yes.
And these seeds zitafanywa nini?
You can use it to propagate the same plant. But it is not, yani when it comes to propagating material, you will take the one which is more advantageous than the other. If you use the seeds, seeds are crossing each other. Like this one now can cross with this one. Then what the products will not be the same as either of the two. You see? So you have already spoiled. And if this particular one is a good crop, a good variety, it is bulky, it produces the right bunches, it produces whatever you want. Then when they cross themselves, they produce what we call varieties. And when you plant that seed there and plant the seed inside here, they will produce different things. They will never be the same as this of the other. they sort of segregates. They go back to where they came from. The parents that were in the area. Yes. So we use what we call vegetative propagation to maintain the same makeup of this thing. Because when you split now, you don't change genes. They will just come as this one. Yes.
Okay.
That's what we stand by, even this one. So now this cassava. So cassava, we use the cuttings. Unakata hapa, alafu unachomoa chini inamea. So you will maintain the same cassava variety. But if you use the seeds yake, then you produce another cassava which is not this one. That is called segregation. And
The stem is the one that determines you have the exact same.
the exact one inaitwa clones. Clonal multiplication. Yani ni kama wewe una produce mtoto ambaye ni wewe tu kabisa. But this one, if you cross the seeds, the pollen from this one plant, this one flower, with this other one, they exchange pollen. And then they produce seeds that produces different.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Ukulima Mazao Bora. We hope you found the information valuable and insightful. Stay tuned for our next episode where we'll explore another fascinating aspect of modern farming.